Greetings friends, today I'm going to teach you how to build a very powerful counter-magical device that has its origins in the British Isles. And of course I'm talking about the famed witch bottle. And since my style of work is very much spirit-centric and built around the grimoires, I'm going to teach you how to build what I call a black witch bottle, which is a witch bottle with a Solomonic twist. Now the witch bottle is a counter-magical device, which means it is meant to be used when you feel like you're under spiritual attack. And specifically the witch bottle is very effective for individuals who are suffering attacks by means of spirits. If you're being molested by some sort of spirit, and usually a spirit sent by an enemy of some sort, right? And typically these could be spirits of the dead, but other kinds of spirits with evil intent are also included. More than that, however, practical experience has shown that the witch bottle is very effective for dealing with astral attacks, which means any kind of attack where the sorcerer or witch is projecting their consciousness at the target and attempting to interfere with them in some way, attempting to coerce or manipulate or to intimidate them in some way, whether they are projecting their consciousness through a crystal or through a magic mirror, or whether they are using some kind of shamanic journeying technique or other kinds of astral journeying techniques that are sometimes found within ceremonial magical traditions. But there are various ways in which magicians can project their consciousness at someone to try and influence them and manipulate them, usually for ill, right? So the witch bottle is really effective for that. So in effect, it acts almost like what you could call a magical rat trap. It has the function of drawing in the spirit or the consciousness of the attacker into the bottle, where that attack is then dispersed and destroyed. And it was widely used in England for good reason. It's very, very effective. It really does work well. It's an excellent form of protection when you're under that kind of magical attack. Now the basic structure of the witch bottle is as follows. You need a jar or bottle of some sort, preferably with a black lid. In this case, you're going to fill it with some broken glass and 8 pins, right? And this is a Saturn-based rite that I'm going to be showing you here, because this witch bottle is going to get a Solomonic angle on it. We're going to incorporate some Solomonic spirit work here. So, and to do that, we're going to work with the sphere of Saturn, because Saturn is very well suited to this kind of work. Saturn governs the dead. Saturn is a planet that imprisons and binds and constricts. You will therefore need the tablet of lights. If you don't know what the tablet of lights is just yet, you might want to go back and look at some of my earlier videos where I deal with that. The Kabbalistic candle magic video is probably the best place to start. Nonetheless, you will need the tablet of lights. Onto the tablet of lights, you will inscribe with black liquid chalk marker the seal of Saturn. Then, in addition to this, you are going to need 4 black candles. My candles are kind of dark gray. My candle supplier, for some reason, has been skimping somewhat on the candle dye. But dark gray or black candles are what we're going to be working with. You will need some asafoetida for incense. You will need some castor oil is a good option. You will need some Saturn oil, Saturn planetary oil, or Cassiel archangel oil is a good option. You will need something to engrave the candles with. Here I've got a burin. You will need a ruler to draw the planetary seal. You will also need some self-lighting charcoal, a censer, some black ink, some water. So you're going to take the witch bottle, fill it with broken glass, add the 8 pins to the bottle, and then you're going to top it up with water. You take some of that black ink and put a couple of drops of black ink into that. You're going to seal it with a black lid. And if you can't find a black lid, it's easy to make a lid black by using a permanent marker and just covering over the white text and so forth. That's what I did here. So we're going to mix that all together, turning the water in there black with the glass and the pins. Then we're going to turn the witch bottle upside down. And we're going to place it in the center of the seal like so. And why do we place it upside down? Well, when the bottle is inverted, it creates a vacuum. And because of that vacuum and because of how the laws of magical sympathy work, that sucking effect will draw in any evil spirits, any spiritual attacks, and any invading influence will get drawn into the bottle by means of that sympathy, magical sympathy. Then next, you're going to take your burin or your nail. Another alternative, since we're doing a Saturn right here, would be to use a coffin nail. That's a good alternative to use in this case to carve the candle. And you're going to carve 3 names on the candles. Firstly, you're going to carve the name of the holy name that rules the sphere, the name of God that governs Saturn. That's going to go on the first candle. The second candle will receive the name of the intelligence, Agiel, and the sigil of the intelligence, Agiel. And the third candle will receive the name of the spirit of Saturn, and that's Zazel, along with the sigil of the spirit of Saturn near the name. Once these have been carved into the candles, you're going to take some of that castor oil or some of that Saturn oil, and you're going to dress the candles away from yourself, because we're taking the influence away, right? And then you're going to set the candles on their respective names. So the candle that received the holy name of God is to be set on the corresponding holy name at the top of the tablet. The candle that received the name of the intelligence, Agiel, is then also set on Agiel's name, and so on. The candle that got the name Zazel, the spirit of Saturn, and the sigil of Zazel, that's to be set on Zazel's name. Now the last candle, you will take the engraving tool that you're using and you will engrave the figure, the sigil of the geomantic figure Carcer. And that figure is an oblong figure, and it's very well suited to this. Similarly, you will dress it with oil and you will set it on top of the witch bottle. And the reason we use the sigil of Carcer is because Carcer, that geomantic figure sigil, means imprisonment. It's a Saturnine figure, that geomantic figure, and it literally means to imprison or to trap. So that's the effect that we want. We want to bring in that Saturnian influence, and we want to imprison any evil spirits and any magical attacks into this bottle, where they will be dealt with by the glass and the pins, right? Now we are ready to do the spell. As with all my previous demonstrations, we would start with the preliminary consecrations first by consecrating the tablet using holy water, consecrating the candles with holy water, saying the consecration of the charcoal, and then once all the preliminary consecrations have been done, we are ready to begin with the spell properly. The opening prayer is said, and all these prayers and invocations are included with the PDF that is linked down below with this video. But the opening prayer is said, and then once the opening prayer has been said, some asafoetida is placed on the charcoal disc, right? And along with that, the candle at the top here that is representative of the holy name of God that rules the sphere is lit with a invocation and an honoring of the holy name of God that rules Saturn. And by doing so, once again, we attune this spell and this environment to the energies of Saturn. Then next we light the intelligence, the candle of the intelligence, Agiel, and this is the angelic intelligence that rules the sphere from within this system. And we do so in the name and the honor of the holy name that rules the sphere. We light the candle for the spirit, Zazel, who is under Agiel, in the name and in the authority of Agiel. Lastly, we light the candle atop the witch bottle. We take some more asafoetida, we add it to charcoal disc, and with that rise we offer that smoke as an offering to the spirits of Saturn. Asafoetida has got a nasty smell, but Saturnian spirits are drawn to that, so we offer that to them with a thanks and an offering for their attunement and their power in this rite. And then we state our petition that this witch bottle be empowered, that by their power all evil spirits, all malefic attacks be directed into the bottle where it is to be destroyed in the bottle. In addition to this, we can of course recite some imprecatory psalms. There are very many good options for that, and once the psalms have been recited and the petition has been said, we can then leave this whole confection to burn down. Once the candles have all burned down, we return back to the tablet of lights, and we say a brief dismissal of the spirits, and now we are ready to deploy the witch bottle. And there are a couple of ways of doing so, but I favor one in particular. The traditional way is to bury it somewhere, and usually at the far end of the property or somewhere near the front door, that kind of thing. But I prefer to hide it somewhere near the front door. And the reason for this is experience has shown in my own use of this work and giving it to many clients, that once the bottle has been filled, once it has got something, there will be signs. There will be some sort of sign that the bottle has worked. And often this comes in the form of a dream. And in particular, I've had dreams where I dream about a caged animal or a burglar trying to break through the front door, or something involving entrapment usually. But it's a very particular sign, and it's quite unmistakable. Once you've had that sign, once you've seen that the bottle has got something, that spiritual rat trap has got something, it's time to get rid of it and replace it with a fresh witch bottle. So that is my recommendation. I prefer that over burying, for the simple reason that you know, not everyone has got a spot to bury something on their property. A lot of people live in apartments, and of course if you were to dig up something once you have the sign, it's going to be a lot more messy and inconvenient. So I prefer to hide it behind a pot plant near the front door so that it's easy to get at. Nonetheless, make sure to get rid of that once you have the sign, and the sign is unmistakable. You will in your own use, you will see this. And of course what's happening here is that this bottle is again working by means of these spirits. We are using the authority and the power of these spirits invoked, who rule this particular domain, to empower this bottle with its effect. And of course they will have authority over any evil spirits that might come at you. So they're very well suited to this, and I find that combining this Solomonic spirit work with the witch bottle is extremely effective, and I'm sure you will find the same. So link down below, I have included a full PDF with the entire spell, all the invocations, all the sigils, all the names, all based in the grimoires. The whole thing worked out very nicely, along with some extra techniques in there, some additional stuff that you can add to make this more powerful, along with a recipe for formulating cassia oil, and a couple of other handy little tips. That's linked down below. You can purchase that on my website. So that's it. That's the Black Witch Bottle spell. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching.